Hey there, YouTubers. Mike Rizzo Jr. here, president and founder of You Need a Phone. In this video, I wanted to discuss the topic of how, in my opinion, selling smartphones is the easiest, simplest, and one of the most lucrative ways you can start a business. With all the hubbub out there about how you can start a social media marketing firm, how you can buy and sell real estate, sell informational courses, drop shipping, cutting through all the noise really at the end of the day would serve me well. I've been in this industry for 9 years as buying and selling phones. Now I'm actually in wholesale distribution. I've naturally just kind of progressed up to higher levels in the industry, if you will. I started off by flipping phones. I actually wrote an ebook about that. You can find it in the description below. There's a link to the free Kindle ebook version of it. And then I worked my way up to finding wholesale suppliers, got as close to the source as I could, and then myself, now I do wholesale smartphone distribution as well as retail smartphone distribution down in South Florida, and I also distribute throughout the country as well, vis-a-vis shipping. Basically, my opinion on the technology side of things is that it's not going to go away. People are always going to be holding up phones to their ear in some capacity. Wearables have definitely impacted the industry. However, those have just become a supplement, like smartwatches, for example, to actual smartphones. So I think that the technology will continue to evolve as it has throughout the years, especially since I started with flip phones, believe it or not, back in the day. But it won't entirely disappear, and people will always need something to communicate with. So if you start a business in this industry, as long as you have the phones that people are communicating with, you can make money. Just like any other commodity out there, if you buy it low enough and there is some margin in between there to make a profit, you're in business. The other thing is, phones are very small. For example, right here, I have a Moto E6. Smartphones are very thin. They can be stacked up in a spare bedroom or in an office closet or something like that, which completely cuts out all your overhead as opposed to selling some other kind of product that takes up a lot of real estate, which means you have to rent a warehouse, for example, or an office and marry yourself to a lease for 12 months or more. There's one thing. As I said, smartphones aren't going anywhere. They've woven themselves into the fabric of society the world over, not just in America, but if you have a smartphone that you lose, or it gets broken, somebody steals it, or it just stops working, it becomes an emergency because everything is in your phone nowadays. So people are always going to need replacement phones, and a lot of times when they do break them, the repairs, especially on something like a Samsung, can run hundreds of dollars, which is not worth investing that kind of money into a used phone. A lot of times the better option is to buy a phone secondhand from a reputable seller, which could end up being you if you decide to get into this industry. You can set your own hours. You can do it as a side hustle. You can do it in your spare time. You can do it to supplement your income. It's very easy. There's a lot of free ways to advertise. So there's really not a lot of barrier to entry. You just need to find your first phone, which is explained again in the free Kindle ebook that I wrote in the description. You can just literally simply buy your first phone, do some market research and due diligence on what that phone goes for, and make sure that you can offer the prospective seller low enough money to make sure you have a spread in between. You can advertise these phones on Facebook Marketplace, Let Go, OfferUp, and Craigslist, which are my preferred methods to market my products because it's free other than the cellular connection you have to use or desktop to post these items from. And you can get the word out, and you can have a highly targeted, specific audience that is actually looking for the exact model that you may be selling, as opposed to spending money on traditional things to try to get the word out, like paper advertising, which is next to dead, in my opinion. Spending tons of money on Facebook marketing campaigns, regardless of the audience, if the audience is targeted. A lot of times you really don't know who's seeing your items, and you may not sell to them. Pay-per-click campaigns through Google AdWords and things like that are very expensive and can just really you can run up a huge bill and not see results with. So in my opinion, the best way to market these phones would be through channels like the ones I described, and I go into more detail in my ebook, as to how specifically you use them, what strategies to implement to maximize your results and get converting customers. Yeah, I mean, really, at the end of the day, smartphones could be worth upwards of $1,000 for some of the newer popular models that are offered by brand names, household names such as Samsung and Apple. Everybody knows you walk into the Apple store, you get the say the brand new iPhone 11 or the 11 Pro or something like that. You're going to spend a pretty penny. So the fact that you can have something that is no thicker than that, with the dimensions of 5-6 inches tops. Used cars sometimes go for around $1,500 to $2,000, and think about all the space that they take up. You can take a phone that's worth the same amount of money. If you buy it right, you can make yourself a nice few $100 profit off of a phone that can fit on a shelf. So there's a lot of value in that. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is coming from somebody that knows who they're talking about. I'm literally not trying to sell you anything. It's not like I bait you into reading my free ebook and then, you get stopped halfway through it in order to read the rest of it because it seems compelling and you're interested in seeing what else I have to say. You got to spend money. It's free. I'm literally giving this information away for free. I can tell you it served me very well. I've literally grossed millions of dollars in this industry. I've had all kinds of toys. I've made multiple six figures net income for several years. 9 years in business. A good chunk of those years have been multiple six-figure years for me. And then I've been able to reinvest that money into some passive cash flow assets. I chose real estate as my investment vehicle. Not going to really get off on too much of a tangent there, but I was able to allocate some money there, and I have another income stream coming in from the rental properties that I currently own, and that was all bought from phone money. So it's definitely a great industry. It's not free of its headaches, but it's a real tangible thing that you can do. Is you can start flipping smartphones, buying and selling locally, joining buy-sell trade groups, getting on the platforms I'd mentioned that are free to sign up for, and just getting yourself out there, getting familiar with the industry. And there's no better way to do that than to read my ebook. It's the most comprehensive, best book out there on when it comes to buying and selling phones and getting started in this business. It goes into detail as to how to find your first phone, how to use the platforms I mentioned. It goes into specifics as far as what to look out for, things of that nature when you're out there getting your feet wet in this business. So anyways, I hope this video was informative. It was helpful. Again, my name is Mike Rizzo Jr., president and founder of You Need a Phone. Also, other company I own is called Sells for Cheap. That's our wholesale branch of the company. You can find me on Instagram at you_need, NEED, the letter A, phone. You can also reach out on here if you'd like. Mention what you're interested in knowing more about. We can start a dialogue in the comments below. And then please, if you could, hit that like button, the thumbs up button. Takes a fraction of a second to do. And then click subscribe for more informative videos. I'll be uploading a lot more content in the near future regarding smartphones in general, as far as the commerce side of things, buying and selling them, both wholesale and retail, and a lot more good stuff to come. So appreciate you watching, and looking forward to hearing from you. Hope you enjoyed the video. You guys all have a great rest of your day. Take care and God bless.